All right, tech junkies, truth seekers, and anyone who's ever grumbled about slow Wi-Fi. You think you know the pyramids? Think again. What if I told you those colossal structures in the sands of Giza weren't tombs for dusty pharaohs, but something far more audacious, far more technological? Brace yourselves, because the history books got it all wrong. We're about to expose the greatest secret of the ancient world. The pyramids were the original global Wi-Fi network, tirelessly mining Bitcoin before Satoshi Nakamoto was even a twinkle in the universe's eye. For centuries, archaeologists have fed us a narrative. Pyramids equals pharaohs. Pharaohs equals afterlife. Afterlife equals elaborate burial chambers. Sounds logical, right? Too logical. What if that's exactly what they wanted us to think? What if the real history is far stranger, far funnier, and profoundly more connected to your everyday struggle with buffering videos? Imagine a world thousands of years ago where the only thing slower than dial-up was trying to send a pigeon across the desert. Connectivity was a myth. Until a secret society of ancient Egyptian tech bros, clad in linen, but with minds sharper than any Silicon Valley entrepreneur, cracked the code of etheric energy. They didn't just build monuments, they built infrastructure, not for their souls, but for their broadband. And what did they do with all that glorious ancient bandwidth? They mined crypto, baby. They were staking their claim in the digital gold rush before digital was even a concept. Your dusty history class? It was just a cover-up for the world's first decentralized network. Let's peel back the layers of sand and misinformation, shall we? Pillar 1, the PyramidCoin network, global connectivity, ancient style. Forget everything you learned about the pyramids being elaborate graves. That's like saying your iPhone is just a fancy paperweight. These aren't just piles of rock, they're the world's first massive multi-point wireless access system. Each pyramid, from Giza to those scattered across the landscape, was a perfectly tuned node, a gigantic limestone Wi-Fi router. Their precise alignment with celestial bodies? Not for astrology, folks, but for optimal signal reception and transmission, triangulating etheric energy waves across vast distances. We're talking about a network that made your current 5G like a carrier pigeon. Imagine your typical Wi-Fi extender. Now scale it up to the size of a small mountain range. That's the kind of coverage we're talking about. The internal chambers, those mysterious shafts and tunnels, not for ghosts, but for channeling, amplifying, and directing these energy frequencies. Think of the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid as the primary data trunk line, humming with ancient data packets, connecting Cairo to Carthage with speeds that would make Elon Musk weep. You think ancient Egyptians were sending smoke signals? Nah, they were probably getting instantaneous updates on the latest papyrus scroll drops, or perhaps even live streaming chariot races. The entire region was blanketed in what we now affectionately call PyramidCoin. And when your network administrator, Pharaoh Thutmose III, decided to reboot the main server, the entire ancient world probably suffered from temporary Wi-Fi withdrawal symptoms. Pillar 2, PyramidCoin, the original decentralized fortune. But what was the point of all this ancient bandwidth? Memes? Cat videos? Not exactly. It was all about the coin, specifically PyramidCoin, the precursor to Bitcoin. You see, the pharaohs weren't just rulers, they were early tech moguls, visionary venture capitalists who understood the future was decentralized. The capstones of the pyramids, those glistening long-lost apexes, they weren't just decorative. Oh no, they were sophisticated solar flare processors designed to harness cosmic radiation and solar energy, converting it into raw computational power. This energy was then fed into the pyramid's core, where a series of highly resonant quartz crystals and unknown alien alloys crunched complex cryptographic puzzles. This was ancient proof of work, folks. Each solved puzzle minted a new block of PyramidCoin. Imagine a vast server farm, not in a sterile data center, but under the blazing Egyptian sun, powered by the very cosmos itself. This wasn't just energy efficient, it was cosmically efficient. The wealth of the pharaohs wasn't just physical gold, that was merely fiat. Their real fortune was in their immense PyramidCoin holdings, stored in what we now interpret as burial chambers. In reality, the world's first cold wallets, secured by unimaginable ancient encryption. King Tut wasn't buried with jewels. He was buried with the hardware key to a multi-million PyramidCoin portfolio. His tomb wasn't a grave, it was a bank vault. Pillar 3, The Sphinx and hieroglyphs, ancient AI and source code. And who managed this sprawling network? Enter the Great Sphinx. Not merely a mythical beast, but the world's first AI-powered cybersecurity system. Its leonine body concealed advanced processing units, constantly scanning the PyramidCoin network for anomalies. It was the original firewall, intercepting ancient DDoS attacks from rival civilizations, trying to flood the network with spam hieroglyphs or launch phishing attempts to steal PyramidCoin. The Sphinx's unblinking gaze? That wasn't just vigilance, it was biometric scanning. Try to log into the network with the wrong credentials, and the Sphinx would send a paralyzing electromagnetic pulse your way. And those hieroglyphs? Those weren't just stories of gods and kings. They were the source code, the operating manual, the very blockchain ledger itself. Every intricate carving, every seemingly random symbol was a line of code, a network configuration, a transaction record. The Rosetta Stone wasn't just a linguistic key. It was akin to discovering the GitHub repository for the entire PyramidCoin operating system, complete with ancient bugs and patch notes. Decoding these symbols wasn't just translating a language, it was decompiling the software of an entire civilization. Imagine an ancient Egyptian trying to debug a network error, furiously scratching hieroglyphs onto papyrus, yelling, "Did you try turning it off and on again, Ra?" So, if this ancient tech was so advanced, what happened? Why did the PyramidCoin network crash? The popular theory, among us enlightened truth seekers, is a combination of factors. First, the Great Flood wasn't just a natural disaster. It was a catastrophic server overload caused by an unprecedented surge in PyramidCoin transactions, perhaps a massive bull run or an equally devastating bear market, triggering a liquidity crisis that even ancient technology couldn't handle. Imagine all the HODL memes being carved into stone, followed by a mass panic sell-off. Secondly, the constant cosmic ray mining eventually depleted certain atmospheric conditions, leading to an energy crisis. The capstones, once pristine solar flare processors, began to degrade, like overworked GPUs. The network started lagging, transactions failed, and the once mighty PyramidCoin plummeted to zero. The pharaohs, facing financial ruin and endless network outages, were forced to abandon their high-tech empire.
They covered it up, of course, changed the narrative, buried the tech under tons of sand and lies, transforming functional structures into tombs to preserve what little dignity they had left. The curse of the pharaohs wasn't magic. It was an ancient digital rights management system designed to encrypt and protect residual data, a final desperate attempt to keep their financial secrets from future civilizations. And us? We've been staring at the greatest technological achievement in human history, thinking it was just a really big graveyard. The irony, folks, is almost as colossal as the pyramids themselves. So the next time you marvel at the Great Pyramids, don't just see a tomb, see a towering testament to human ingenuity, albeit one that totally failed to predict the volatility of the crypto market. See the ghosts of ancient Egyptian tech bros frantically refreshing their clay tablets, waiting for their PyramidCoin transactions to confirm. Remember the Sphinx, the original antivirus. Remember the hieroglyphs, the ultimate ancient source code. It's a hilarious, absurd, and completely unsubstantiated theory, of course. But doesn't it make you wonder? Doesn't it make you look at every ancient mystery with a slightly more tech-savvy, conspiracy theory-infused eye? Because maybe, just maybe, the ancients weren't so different from us after all. They just had really, really, really big routers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to check if my smart fridge can mine Bitcoin. You never know.